now most Americans have made up their minds about the war in Iraq. After 4 years of Operation Iraqi Freedom, the war seems to have divided our country into two camps: those who believe the American military needs to stay in Iraq until there's peace, and those who want an immediate withdrawal of our troops. The war in Iraq has also brought a war of opinions to Ventura College. For a student at Ventura College, signs of the war are hard to escape. There are military recruiters on campus most mornings, and the recruitment posters make being a soldier look exciting, like it's an adventure. For many young people, joining the military may be their ticket to a better life, a chance to learn employable skills and to do something honorable. The military recruiters promise all these things, plus a free college education courtesy of the GI Bill. Also around Ventura College campus, there are a multitude of anti-war posters and many peace-related lectures and student activities. Ventura College even had its own Peace March sponsored by the student chapter of MECHA on March 14th. There are 149 students who are in the military enrolled at Ventura College. What do they think about the war in Iraq? We interviewed one of them to find out. Miguel Hernandez is a U.S. Marine. He's an active reservist with a rank of Corporal E4 stationed with the 3-4 Marines in 29 Palms, California. Miguel Hernandez is also a student at Ventura College on the GI Bill. As a soldier in Iraq, he has experienced everything from combat and dealing with his fellow soldiers getting killed to hours of patrol duty watching and waiting for a sniper or IED to do its deadly work. He has done 3 tours of duty in Iraq, starting with the liberation of Baghdad in March of 2003. His last tour ended after 7 months providing security in Fallujah in July of 2005. Miguel got his U.S. citizenship after his last deployment.
What was a typical day like?
There's really no typical day, but for the most part, you don't get to get your full amount of sleep. You sleep either 4 hours or 2 hours, and then you got patrols, or if you got camp security, you gotta be in post for 4 hours in QRF, and technically you're 4 hours off, but it never works out that way.
What else would you do during the day?
We would go on patrols, you know, because the biggest part of the military right now is we go out on patrols. We try to take care of the needs of the people, because if they're happy, it makes our job easier, you know. There's less complaints and they're more willing to support American troops.
Hernandez talks about the necessity of being constantly on alert for danger every day while on duty in Iraq and how it affected him.
You're always like, oh my God, is it today my last day or what, you know? But you don't really think about stuff like that. You just go day-to-day basis.
How has being over in Iraq and watching out for snipers and being more alert, how has that changed you?
Well, you're constantly more aware. You are a little bit safer, you know, like you don't do things as reckless as you used to do, or, you know, it's different, you know, like, yeah, you might be driving and you start spotting things that most people won't spot, you know, like, you'll be driving and be like, I remember one time I was coming back and I picked up one of my friends, you know, and I was like, and obviously he wasn't in the military, and we were going, I think maybe out to a restaurant or to a bar, and I can't remember, you know, and I was driving, and I was like, dude, did you see that toilet paper on the road? And he goes, what are you talking about, you know? And there's a big roll of toilet paper, you know, like going across, and he totally missed it, you know? And I was like, dude, it was right there. And he's like, dude, you're crazy, dude, you're starting seeing things. So I had to stop, go back and show him the toilet paper, you know? And it's funny things, you know, like you'll be walking and you'll start spotting things that maybe, you know, as a normal person you wouldn't think about, you know, like a bag, you know, on the normal road or something. You're just like, hey, what's that, you know? Another thing is when I came back, the first day I came back, I drove back from 29 Palms, and I remember every time we went under a bridge or something, I used to switch lanes. Just because in Iraq you switch lanes because they usually try dropping grenades on top of the vehicle or something like that. So I didn't do that like, oh, I'm gonna switch lanes just because grenades, you know, it's just like natural instinct. or I will always drive on the middle lane, just because it was safer from the IEDs or the improvised explosive device, which are usually on the sides of the roads. Every time I saw something, like, let's say I was going on the left hand and I would see like a trash bag and I was coming from the freeway, I pretty much immediately switched lanes.
Hernandez talks about the best times in Iraq.
Well, the best type of days, there definitely had to be a peaceful one, but I guess kind of like sunset and sunrises, you know. And I was there when the invasion, so we called it the Red Day. I'm not really sure what they call it here. And it was a super thick sandstorm, you know. We had to stop all our vehicles because the convoy was getting, you know, lost and stuff. So it was funny because we stopped in this place where they got ambushed the night before. And they were just telling us, okay, don't go to sleep, don't rest, you know. And we're like, why, you know? And they wouldn't tell you. They're like, just stay alert, okay? And we're like, oh yeah. You know, you got your alert type of things, you know, like, okay, I'm on a dangerous area, I'm not gonna even blink, you know? But you're always alert, you know?
Hernandez describes his worst day in Iraq.
Well, pretty much all the days are pretty bad, but definitely when you miss, you know, like you lose someone. We were on Fallujah and we lost like one of our closer buddies. You know, he was like awesome just because the reason why he died. Well, not the reason obviously, but the day he died in Fallujah, we always enter, or you know, we do a stack and we go inside a building and we try to keep not the machine guns in front because they usually jam. So usually a rifleman would go in the front, but it wasn't like a lot, you know, because you're moving so fast that if you're the first one, you usually go first. And Corporal Maya, he was awesome, you know. He got up there and he was in charge of his people, and he goes, you know what, you're not going first, I'm going first, because I have a rifle and you got an automatic weapon. And when he went in, you know, like the sun silhouetted him, so he got shot and they pulled him out and they just couldn't rescue him. And I guess it was kind of upsetting because we were told to advance in Fallujah, and that happened, and we got at that same moment like the call to stop, you know, that we couldn't keep on going. So most of us, we were just extremely angry and we couldn't move on, you know. It was a frustrating moment because you know the guy that killed them, you know exactly where they're at, you know they're not moving, and it's kind of like the time you can go and get them, and yeah, you have like a ceasefire type of thing. And it's just kind of upsetting, especially because he didn't support, like, he extended to go back to Iraq, you know, and he had a fiance and all this stuff, so it's kind of frustrating.
As of April 16th of this year, 3,313 American soldiers have been killed in the war in Iraq, otherwise known as Operation Iraqi Freedom. Operation Iraqi Freedom has claimed the lives of at least 62,281 Iraqi civilians. This is according to IraqBodyCount.org's April 23rd report. These are numbers, but for each number there is a human being who lost his or her life, and a family who lost someone they loved. American soldiers wounded in the war in Iraq number over 24,000. Not all wounds are physical. The chronic stress and memories of being in harm's way is known to linger on as scars in the minds of many after they return home. Hernandez told us that one of his fellow soldiers in Iraq later committed suicide. According to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine 2004, 1 in 8 soldiers who have seen combat in Iraq have these scars of the soul and suffer from what is called post-traumatic stress disorder. This is what war is really like.